everybody. How are you? I just got seated.
I thought about, you said earlier this week, it's kind of a weird week, right, with the holiday, and it's going to be an off week for a lot of people, a short week for some. In my opinion, Monday was Monday still. Tuesday still felt like Tuesday, but today is definitely like a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, I still have to call it Thursday because Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday, but then we get a second Friday on Friday. 2 Fridays this week, if you ask me.
What is today? You lost me after
Today is Friday, Thanksgiving Eve, also known as Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
You follow?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about, this is our most clicked on story today. You guys have been sounding off about it, boy, on Facebook. And this is the headline that more elected officials taking some major heat for traveling to some far off vacations. At the same time, recommending restrictions on businesses back here at home. So you're looking at video of a Washington County Commissioners meeting from back on November 10th. That is Jerry Willey. He is Hillsboro's former mayor. He is a county commissioner. This is also a commissioner named, where is it? Dick Schouten.
Oh yeah, Dick Schouten. Yeah.
Right there, he was in a blue Hawaiian shirt on the balcony of a Hawaiian condo. So this is, yesterday we had a big headline of Multnomah County Commissioner Sharon Myron has been in Hawaii. She just returned yesterday. She's been there for 2 weeks. Hawaii has been having some major restrictions of once you fly to Hawaii, you have to quarantine in the place you're staying at for 2 weeks. You can't leave.
They changed that, though, a little bit back. You had to do a test before you boarded the plane.
She tested negative.
Yeah.
She's been quarantining, she says, at her condo on the Big Island. She flew back yesterday. She left 3 days before the West Coast travel advisory that all 3 governors put into place.
Yeah, she left for Hawaii 3 days before. Yep.
She left before that, yeah. So technically, it's all by the book. Here she is doing a Zoom commissioners meeting from Hawaii. Here's where things get awkward.
Okay.
This is a tweet she sent telling people to stay home. Well, she left her geotag location on. And at the very bottom it says she tweeted that while she was in Hawaii.
Not good luck.
So now you've got these other county commissioners. Jerry Willey, who on the November 10th meeting told everyone he was flying to Mexico on the following Monday. Well, that was 3 days after the travel advisory. He is in Mexico right now. He doesn't come back until next week. The other commissioner went to Hawaii. People are sounding off on this. Of course, you know, this is not illegal. A lot of people have done this by the book. You're not supposed to travel unless it's absolutely necessary or essential, blah, blah, blah. These guys aren't private citizens, so they're kind of, you know, being looked at with another standard as a public official who are helping make these restrictions, even telling people that businesses should shut down or folks should stay home. What do you guys, viewers, what do you guys think?
Let's see what the viewers are saying, because I'll be honest with you, up front, this was a topic we talked about before the show this morning. Hey, do we want to get into this topic the day before Thanksgiving, or do we want to go with something lighter? And I'll say, Nina and Rod, you two were a little bit more passionate than I was about this topic.
This is a talker, I think.
It absolutely is. Like you said, it's the most clicked on story on our website. So I don't know if the two of you have thoughts on it. I don't have any strong feelings. It is a very, we're starting to judge people, right? We're starting to judge people and their actions.
And that's part of the story, and that's what I would love people to weigh into, of like this shame game that happens now. I mean, we obviously had cancel culture well before the pandemic started, but now, now it's even worse.
Right.
With, hearing about, Thanksgiving plans, for example, or what were you doing for 4th of July, even back in the summer.
Yeah.
A lot of people are lying or hiding things, and it's just because like I was telling Drew, if I were to get COVID, my number one thing, because of my age and my health, thank God for, I would not be like super scared of
the illness itself.
The illness itself for me. And I would be more worried about like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be the person who's in the building working who has COVID, and then other people, are exposed, and my daughter has to come out of school and all that junk.
Well, no one wants to be the one. And right now, remarkably, as far as the KGW building is concerned, and we have most of our employees, I mean, the great majority of our employees still working from home. Those of us who are coming into the building every day, not one of us, knock on some big pieces of wood, but I'm just making a point here, not one of us has come down with the illness. And none of us wants to be the first one to do so either, right? Like, oh my gosh, like, because that would affect all of us.
Yeah.
You know, if one of us, you know, gets COVID, obviously it's going to have an impact on all of us and the way we run things here. So I get that, Nina. I get not wanting to be the one. And that's why, you know, we all have been a little bit more careful, because we're sort of like carrying the weight of the building on our backs. You know, the county commissioners, in the case of this story we just read, you know, I don't know if their jobs require them to be inside certain places at certain times, the way our job requires us to be in this place at this time.
Yeah, you saw them doing their virtual Zoom meeting, which they can do from anywhere, you know.
I know we're not supposed to fly right now, but honestly, if I heard about some of my friends who are working from home right now, who do everything through Zoom, if I heard that they were making a trip out of state, wherever it may be, whether it was Hawaii or to go visit friends on the other side of the country, I wouldn't look down on them. I wouldn't rip them apart. And I would probably be, you know, just fine with their decision, because in their cases, I'm talking again about this work from home crowd, I know that, you know, they're not really coming into a workplace and impacting coworkers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I just want to say, you know, the inconsistencies since this began are just, I don't think you could ever write the list of the inconsistencies. Here's an example. I'm watching The Price is Right the other day on my break. I love The Price is Right. The game show, right?
Okay.
Everybody's seen The Price is Right.
Sure.
So they've got the social distancing with the contestants. They're no longer pulling people out of the audience, obviously. So they must have some lottery. Then they pick them pre-show and the people come from backstage, right? So it's all separated. Until they get to the big spin the wheel. During the big spin the wheel, contestant 1, spin the wheel. Contestant 2, no gloves, no sanitizing, no nothing, spins the same wheel. And my point is, they have all this elaborate show, we're doing things right, and then you get to spin the wheel. That's touchy, touchy, touchy. So that's the latest example I've seen of the inconsistencies are just off of the charts. They really are. You could do a Saturday Night Live sketch on what people say, what people are doing, what businesses are doing, but then kind of forget to do. I mean, it's just off the charts. I know everybody knows what I'm talking about.
The Price is Right is like a microcosm for the entire world right now.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Rod, I'm curious, before Nina reads a comment, if you had to just have one more all-time like Super Bowl showdown for Price is Right, would you want Bob Barker hosting the show or Drew Carey?
I like Mr. Carey, but I mean, you know, Bob Barker's Bob Barker.
Yeah, the legend.
Yeah, he's a legend.
All right. Nina, what do you got as far as viewer comments go?
Let's see. Destiny McLaren says, if you're not shady, you have nothing to hide. Funny how that works. Lead by example. Let's see.
I've got a Joshua Madrid comment.
Go ahead.
Always well thought out. Joshua says, for these elected officials, say what you mean and do what you say. He calls it poor behavior any way you look at it, and hopes that all of them are going to learn from this error in judgment. It is very unfortunate, as it further exacerbates the mistrust in the safety messaging and puts more people at risk. Way better said than the way I could say it, because it's true. And I had that whole rant a moment ago about being okay with neighbors, friends, family, whoever, who do decide to travel. But again, I am talking about people who aren't standing up in front of other people and telling them to pull back on travel plans, to, you know, curtail their gatherings amongst family members. So, I mean, to me, you know, obviously elected officials do play by a different standard and a different set of rules.
Do you think they have to be held to a higher standard, especially when they're making the decisions?
Kind of comes with the territory, right? Mayor Wheeler did come out some time back, and he said he had plans to visit family down in California, and he canceled
And
those
he was
plans.
canceling, What gets me kind of is the first woman who we profiled, the Multnomah County Commissioner, Sharon Myron. She's an ER doctor. But again, I mean, I don't know. That was a tough one for me because it was different. She traveled before the advisory. She, you know, you can be on vacation. I mean, my husband and my daughter and I went to Palm Springs in early October. There wasn't a surge at that time. It happened afterwards, so it was probably part of that. But we got an Airbnb. It was just us two. We didn't, you know, hang out with people and do, we just did stuff by ourselves, but we don't know anyone down there. And so we're at the pool by ourselves and in the house and sitting on the balcony. And so I can justify in my mind maybe, and judge me if you guys, you know.
No, the game
not you
keeps
two,
changing.
but viewers.
The game's rules keep changing. I hear what you're saying.
It is,
When
it's
they
hard.
took off, it was, we were no longer hitting it hard that you couldn't get away.
But I'm saying it's easy to go on vacation and like be isolated. I mean, you're not in the plane. You're not isolated in the plane. You're not isolated at the airport. Yes, you are part of the crowd. We went out to eat at restaurants. Everyone was, spaced out and masked and all that stuff per California rules. But, Sharon Myron, she said she's been in her condo. I'd rather be at a condo in Hawaii too.
Well, we talked about this yesterday, Nina. I said, I know you well enough to know that if that Palm Springs trip was planned for now, let's just say that for whatever reason you had to plan for Thanksgiving, you'd be canceling. A month and a half ago, and things are changing so rapidly with this pandemic, right? Like this in some cases.
And I can't work from home. Like if I had a basement in my house, maybe I would talk to the boss and be like, hey, can I just do like the 2 weeks after I get back? Right. But I can't talk at full volume at 4 a.m. with my daughter, right up the staircase from me. And so it just doesn't work. So, I would have to. But
Tyrell says people are traveling. I saw someone else make a mention that ID4, for example, was really busy last night. But Tyrell goes on and says, I think we shouldn't travel out of the state or country, but I'm not going to complain when someone does. It's not my business what other people do unless it concerns my family.
And Director Brian, do we have Kyle's story? Is it the short version from today? Okay.
It's 9 minutes.
It doesn't have is the other one really long? Because, and you guys can go on our YouTube page or our KGW.com page, because he spoke to, Kyle called up these commissioners and talked to them about it. And they each said, Sharon Myron says, I'm working virtually. I'm also having a vacation. Nothing that I've done actually contradicts anything I've been saying. But then there's that tweet that was sent from Hawaii telling people to stay home.
We can actually roll that short version, Nina, if you want.
Does it have the sound bites in
we have that version we ran this morning on Sunrise.
Let's do it.
We can play that for you right now.
Let's do it.
A number of elected officials in Oregon are facing public backlash after vacationing in Hawaii and Mexico as coronavirus cases surged at home, resulting in travel warnings and COVID restrictions. Washington County Commissioner Dick Scouten joined a recent Zoom meeting while on vacation in Hawaii. During the same November 10th commission meeting, county officials urged the public to take precautions and described a reduction in some services by appointment only.
From a public health standpoint, do you feel like you're leading by example?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I mean, I think if you have an opportunity to take some downtime, as long as you're following all the rules and regulations, and you're willing to be flexible to change as events change. Yeah, absolutely.
Despite dire health warnings, Washington County Commissioner Jerry Willey said he too would be traveling to Mexico. Multnomah County Commissioner Sharon Myron has drawn criticism from some after spending the past 2 weeks at a condo on the Big Island of Hawaii. Myron, who's an emergency physician, has called for restrictions on public gatherings and business operations to help slow the spread of the virus, but is unapologetic about her travel. Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
So there you go. Each said they're not, they did everything by the book.
Yeah.
And they don't think it looks bad.
I keep going back to, at least in the Myron situation, the fact that she went on that Hawaii trip 3 days before the freeze went into effect here in Oregon. Whether that makes it more right, more wrong, to me, there's something there, right? There's something in the fact that she did make that trip before the restrictions went full force like they did here a couple of weeks ago. But to me,
Rod?
The fact is this.
The wrong way. Sorry, Drew, go ahead.
No, you're fine, Rod. The fact is this: there are elected officials from Kate Brown at the top all the way down to our county commissioners and even lower than that, who are continuing to tout the drum. I guess you bang the drum. You bang the drum and call for people to change their behaviors. And that includes getting together with people and traveling. So if you're going to be an official who comes out and tells people, hey, you should really curb the traveling if you don't need to right now, and then you go travel. Yeah. How do you do that?
Look good. Melissa Bertini says, I think that if you want to travel, travel. I also think people should mind their own business. If you're scared, don't leave your house. Simple.
I like Justin's comment. I mean, that's clever. So if they're pro-life, are they pro-choice now? Because that's what it looks like. You know, some hidden messaging there, but pretty clever little statement.
Yeah. Politically driven, but clever.
Jean Lynn says if our kids have to go to school on Zoom, the elected officials making these rules can have meetings via Zoom. And they are, Jean. People aren't going to take you seriously if you aren't a good example and practicing what you preach. Come on.
Tammy Winters, do you live in the state of Washington? I'm just curious because Tammy has a comment that says our governor put a travel ban on our state and he's in Florida right now vacationing for the holiday. What a hypocrite. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know what state she's referring to, but I don't think it's Inslee.
Okay, let's talk about that, Tammy. Explain yourself and where you're from. Tammy Winters chiming in this morning on Sunrise Extra.
Yeah. Let's see.
How about Jeanne Lynn, or Jeanne? It's probably Jeannie. Jeanne,
right?
Jeanne.
Yeah, I just read her comment.
Jeannie, you read the one about the kids?
Yeah.
I apologize, Nina. I apologize to you and everyone associated with you.
That's okay. Wendy Shepard on YouTube. Hi, guys on YouTube. I am watching you. She says, I'm disgusted by our officials. So yeah, and if you guys are kind of following this stuff, restaurants they filed a formal complaint in court to get dining back on the table during this freeze, and they got denied yesterday. So we're still at least 2 weeks. Well, I guess this is and when did the restaurant thing go into effect?
The 11th?
Are we in a week and a half now?
When was that?
No, the 18th, right? It was a week. No,
yeah, it was last Wednesday.
The freeze went into
So we are
effect in Oregon
exactly
last
1
Wednesday.
week into our freeze.
Yeah.
So for every other county except Multnomah, we have 1 more week supposedly if they don't extend it.
I feel like it's going to get extended, right, for at least the metro counties. I see the numbers, those COVID numbers recently. Obviously, they're spiking in general, but Washington County has had a couple of pretty big days. Clackamas County has been relatively low case-wise from the start. I mean, it's one of the 3 biggest counties, Clackamas is, but their case numbers in Clackamas County have been very low throughout the run here, but they have now seen some pretty big days over the last week. So I just feel like that whole metro county area is going to be joined in with Multnomah here before too long.
Carol Mitchell on YouTube. Thanks, guys. Now everyone on YouTube. Yes, I read your comments on YouTube. She says, so they can make decisions for themselves, but we're not smart enough to make the same decisions for ourselves. Thanks, Carol, for weighing in. Yeah. Richard Scott says, can we talk about the carbon emissions that are kept at bay the less we travel? Yes. There is good
It has solved the travel rush hour traffic problem.
Right? Yeah.
Pandemic, yeah.
How about a comment from Greg Broadwater? Greg, Nina and Rod, he is one of the few people who have done multiple Sunrise viewer recipe segments on our show. And last year, at this time, he presented a pumpkin cheesecake, a pumpkin swirl cheesecake. I was almost about to say freaking, and now I'm going to. It was freaking awesome. It was a great pumpkin swirl cheesecake, but Greg simply says this morning, I just wish I could have made some Thanksgiving food for the hardest working news crew in Portland to enjoy in the studio this year. Obviously, that is not happening.
When you let us know who that crew is, we'll get them some pie.
Maybe it's the crew that does the story with Dan Haggerty. Oh, there are some of those viewer recipe segments from years past. Obviously, we did not enter viewers' homes this year because that just would not be prudent in 2020.
Yes. With Joshua Madrid, our resident bartender, all this travel by folks just means us food and beverage and hospitality people are most likely out of work until next year. Big sigh.
Hey, let's do this, Nina. We're getting close to the end time here. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Maybe we should spend a half a second just saying thank you to all the Sunrise Extra viewers who have chimed in this year, because we didn't know what Sunrise Extra was going to be like once the pandemic hit, right? And it became a lot of talk about the pandemic itself. But you guys have been fantastic, and a lot of you I know are here every single day chiming in with very thoughtful comments. Yeah. So on this Thanksgiving Eve, the whole gang, including Brenda, says thank you very much for participating.
Are we all off tomorrow?
We're all off the rest of the week, so we wish you a happy, healthy Thanksgiving, you guys. We will see you back here next week. Bye.